Hello, welcome to the 8th day of May for Makers, and today we'll be talking what's on my table. In the past days of May for Makers, I gave you a quick tour about the workshop, and I did show you as well what is actually on my work table, what's usually on my work table. So today we'll be talking about what project I'm currently working on. So I will, show you exactly what is on my table right now. To start off this episode, first of all, we can say that there is always the leatherworking toolbox on my table. It's one of my favorite things in the shop, and I'm very fond of it. And I've shown this in the past because of all the stickers that my maker friends have. There are two projects that I am currently working on, two leatherworking projects. The first is a leather badge. This is for live action roleplay, for LARP. And in the past events, my group of friends and I who were playing together, we decided that we needed sort of an emblem or an insignia to represent us, and this is my idea of what it could look like. Of course, it's not final, but I've been working on it for quite a couple of weeks now. And basically, this is pressed into leather. What it is, this is Vashtan leather, of course. I 3D printed a mold and, not a mold, really a stamp, if anything, and then I put it in the vise behind me to try and press it onto wet leather. So it left the imprint, I dyed it black, I dyed the surrounding areas black, and the middle one was actually brown, antiqued it a little bit after applying a little bit of a resist, and then sewed a loop so that this can be worn either as a badge or as a necklace or something. But this is still in a concept, proof of concept kind of stage. So that is one project that's, a little bit, I'm taking it a little bit easy on. The other project, which is giving me a little bit of grief, but it looks so awesome, is this. This is a costrel. A flask. It's small, it's meant to hold a small amount of liquid, water, alcohol, whatever. And I think it is one of the first original designs which I came up with. It's a mixture of carving and stamping. Basically, it's also a very experimental design for a costrel. I have never made a costrel which sort of follows this gourd shaped design, and I can understand why it would give me a little bit of grief. My main problem is that I still haven't sealed it properly. Now on the inside I have poured molten beeswax, and I have unstitched this and restitched this a million times by now to try and get it right. Basically, finally I managed to get both sides of the leather properly waxed on the inside so they don't leak on the surfaces, but there is still a bit of a leak where the threads are. That could partly be because I didn't use glue for this. I wanted to just have a thread and sewing techniques to close it for this very reason, because I wasn't actually quite sure on whether I would be able to make it waterproof on the first go. And even, looking into the stitching holes, you can see the beeswax, you can see on the other side. So this definitely needs a little bit more work on it. But I think if I manage to heat up the wax on the inside, which is on the seam, I think that will actually just fall into place and it will seal it up properly. It just needs a little bit of time and perhaps a little bit more figuring it out. But other than that, I also made a stopper for it. This is a regular piece of cork which has been burnt with a torch, basically with a creme brulee torch, to give it a little bit of depth and texture. It has been press fitted into the neck of the costrel. This is a piece of walnut which I had lying around. I just shaped it a little bit, drilled a hole in it, and once I managed to seal it, this will be complete. Now this I made it for a friend of mine. I already made another costrel in the past, and you can find the write-up on my website, corsoworkshop.com. And basically these two costrels are going for two of my friends who run a channel called Of Spells and Strings. They are two amazing musicians. So yeah, go check them out if you ever have a minute. They make an awesome cover for Toss a Coin to Your Witcher. As always, thank you very much for joining me for this day of May for Makers. These are so much fun to make, and actually very possible to upload within a reasonable time frame. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow for the next day of May for Makers, and as always, stay safe and keep making.